Hey there, friend. I'm Corianne, and welcome to another week of our Rooted in Grace devotional series. This week, we're leaning into the freedom in saying no. So grab your coffee, pause the to do list for just a few minutes, and let's open our hearts to a little truth, a little encouragement, and a whole lot of grace. This week's scripture is from Matthew chapter 5, verse 37. Let your yes be yes, and your no be no. In Matthew chapter 3 verse 37, Jesus teaches us the importance of integrity and clarity in our words. Let your yes be yes and your no no. This not only emphasizes honesty, but it also highlights the importance of setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's a biblical way to protect our time, energy, and our emotional well-being. Saying no can sometimes feel uncomfortable, but allows us to say yes to God's best for our lives. By saying no to things that don't align with His will, we create space for what truly matters and honor our priorities. As just as Jesus set boundaries in His own life, we are called to be intentional with our commitments and ensuring they reflect God's purpose for us. Living with clear boundaries allows us to avoid the pressure of people pleasing and brings peace by aligning our actions with God's will. It frees us to live with integrity and focus on what truly matters. This week builds on last week, so this week's reflection questions will do the same. Why is it often difficult to say no? How can we overcome that struggle? How does saying no to distractions help us to say yes to God's calling? These are things we talked about last week also. Because when we are able to say yes to what God has intended us, someone else can say yes to the things that we need to say no to. This week's journal prompts can be shared with just your journal buddy, or you can share them with me in my personal messages if you'd like. Identify one area where you've been overcommitted. Pray for wisdom to decide if this is something God truly has called for you, or are you stepping in the place of someone else where they should really be stepping up? Practice saying no this week in small, intentional ways that honors your boundaries. If you're trying to spend more time with your family, those dishes will wait. You can come back later. If it means that you can't make another batch of cookies for the bake sale, that's okay too. Do what you know is going to intentionally honor what you need to set as a priority. This week's prayer prompt is going to help you find those things that God really has for you. Pray for wisdom to discern when to say yes and when to say no. Ask God for the courage to set boundaries that honor Him. Thank you for joining me for week 4 for Rooted in Grace, a 16-week journey to a Christ-centered life. Now, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask anytime. Leave them in the comments or send me a message. We'll talk soon.